Hey, Salina.
Hey, Nikki.
And hey, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode.
And Sweet Tea and TV.
It's CTTV. Yep. Thanks.
You're going to have this down, and I'm going to have the exit outros by the time this is done. You know?
No, I don't know because I won't. It's still going to be, and I'll still get it wrong, and then we'll start next season, and it'll still be wrong. I forget to learn my lesson. It's the thing we were just talking about off air. Don't think about it, just push through. Don't stop and process something, just push through. So until I stop to learn the lesson, I don't learn it. But that's okay.
I support you. Does that help?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it feels like enabling, but thank you. Thank you for your support. Speaking of enabling people in not great behavior, that happens sometimes in Sex and the City with the men. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this week we're doing the men of Sex and the City. We're going to talk about many of the major male characters, but not all. Because you have, I think, an apology pre-queued up because we're missing a couple.
I do.
Okay.
And so I know that there's I'm just going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and say, if you're a burger lover of the Ron Livingston variety and not the sandwich burger.
Can it be both?
Well, yeah, sure, absolutely. There's no limits. You know what I'm saying? Except for all the limits. There's not going to be any burger, and there's not going to be any Dr. Robert Leeds. So, yeah, please forgive me.
Okay. Well, I feel like I got enough burger, and I never learned who Dr. Robert Leeds is, so I'll survive. Other people might not.
You have seen him in one episode, I think.
Oh, well, he didn't register. That's all right. We do get to talk about Big, Aiden, Trey, Harry, Steve, Richard, Smith, and Alexander Petrovsky. He's very specific about how you say it. That's a lot of, some might argue too many. Some might argue too many. So for Big, we're going to watch season 3, episode 10, All or Nothing. The summary of that one from the Sex and the City wiki is Carrie feels guilty and wants to quit her affair with Big. Miranda has phone sex with a coworker from Chicago. Charlotte negotiates the terms of a prenuptial agreement with Trey's mother, Bunny. And after celebrating her move to the new apartment in the meatpacking district, Samantha's flu gives her a pessimistic outlook on life. That one was written by Jenny Bix and directed by Charles McDougall. For Aiden, we're going to watch season 4, episode 10, Bells of the Balls. Carrie invites Big up to Aiden's country home to talk. Charlotte tries to discuss her and Trey's infertility problems. Miranda sleeps with Steve after he has one of his testicles removed. That's a fun word to say. And then Samantha tries to get the PR position for hotelier Richard Wright. And that one was written by Michael Patrick King and directed by Michael Spiller. I'm going to keep pausing and looking at you in case there's anything you want to say.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Season 3, episode 12, Don't Ask, Don't Tell. This is going to be our Trey episode. Carrie struggles to find the right time to tell Aiden about her affair. Miranda tells a guy she's I'm going to say flight attendant. It says stewardess. I see you, flight attendants. She's a flight attendant in hopes of getting a date. Charlotte marries Trey McDougall. Samantha sleeps with Trey's Scottish cousin, despite being unable to understand him. This one was written by Cindy Chupak and directed by Dan Algrant. Our Harry episode is going to be season 5, episode 8, I Love a Charade. Here's Jack Berger. Carrie meets Jack Berger again in the Hamptons. Charlotte goes public with her relationship with Harry. Miranda gets more comfortable with her role as a mother. And Samantha throws a huge party at Richard Wright's Hamptons house. This one was written by Cindy Chupak, Michael Patrick King, and Candace Bushnell, and directed by Michael Engler. And I think Candace Bushnell should be on all of these written bys. I think I just accidentally left her off. Sorry about that.
We'll let it go.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully, Candace can let it go when she joins us one day. Our Steve episode is going to be season 3, episode 5, No Ifs, Ands, or Buts. So Carrie's smoking becomes a problem when she goes on a first date with Aiden Shaw. Miranda makes more time for Steve in her life. Charlotte dates the worst kisser she's ever met. And Samantha dates a black man whose sister doesn't like her. It was written by Michael Patrick King and Candace Bushnell and directed by Nicole Holofcener. I can never say that person's name.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And then 2 more episodes we're going to talk about. We got our Richard episode, which is season 4, episode 13, Change of Address. Carrie freaks out about getting married to Aiden. Charlotte takes tap classes and has a meltdown during the T for 2 number when she realizes she isn't ready to be alone after her divorce. Miranda feigns excitement when she learns her baby's gender, and Samantha finds out Richard is seeing other women and pushes him to be monogamous with her. Written by Julie Rottenberg, Elisa Zuritsky, and Candace Bushnell, and directed by Alan Taylor. Then our last episode this week is season 6, episode 16. This is going to cover both Smith and Alexander Petrovsky. It's called Out of the Frying Pan. Carrie gets upset at Alexander. I want to say it the same way he says it. Alexander. For being inconsiderate of her feelings about Samantha's cancer. Miranda considers buying a house in Brooklyn. Charlotte receives a dog and names her Elizabeth Taylor. Samantha's hair falls out as a result of chemotherapy. This one was written by Jenny Bix, Candace Bushnell, Liz Tuccillo, and directed by Michael Engler.
Just call me Bob.
Oh my gosh. I got to take a deep breath now.
That was a lot.
That was a lot of information.
It was a lot to get through all those men.
So many men.
I just wanted to say that, you know, when we were kind of carving out what this episode would be like several months ago, these were tagged to like one man.
Mm-hmm.
But as it turns out, watching these and, you know, for listeners, really there are certain episodes where you're getting to know more about several of the characters
for
all
sure
at one time.
For sure.
Bells of the Balls is definitely a great example because we get Big, Aiden, Trey, and Steve all in that episode, which is kind of wild actually.
Yeah.
And also in prepping for our next episode, our next main episode, I realized that batch also wound up adding a lot of color and context to a lot of our characters.
Well, that's what I've enjoyed about the structure this season is we've tried to have a reason for watching these episodes, but it also is building that context for all the other stuff I haven't seen. So it has kind of built on itself. Like, for instance, you say we're not going to really talk about Jack Berger, but like he's definitely a man that's sort of in the universe for me. We just don't have an episode one episode we watch about him, and we don't have a specific talking point about him, but I got a real good vibe for who this guy is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's very true. And then also it occurred to me that like a lot of this, I didn't watch Sex and the City straight through. So I can't remember if I've said this here or not, but like I watched it on TBS, a lot of it at first. And when it first aired,
you told us that
years ago. Yeah. So like, I had to watch things out of order and slowly put the story back together until, you know, because it was the early aughts. And then I went and got the DVDs and watched it all straight through. And then it started to like really crystallize for me.
Right.
But I do actually think that it's a little bit of a silly watch, but I do also think that can be interesting because it kind of, I don't know, it's like it blows your mind. Like as you weave and put the pieces together, it's almost like building a mystery or something. A Sarah McLachlan, if you will.
That's what the first thing that came in my head. Building a mystery.
There you go. You can't help it if you're our age.
It's
it
true.
will always be Sarah McLachlan. We'll always be building a mystery for
Building
you.
a mystery. And what's the other one from the dog rescue?
Oh, Arms of an Angel.
Oh.
That's a tough one. Yeah, it's not a dry eye in town when that plays every holiday season. So you want to talk about these men?
We have to.
This? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Similar to our main characters, I'd like us to talk about the archetypes for the men specifically. Before we do a confession that I decided to take a different tack this time and do Chat GPT instead of coming up with the archetypes myself. I mean, I always do a little Google action, but it was more of a crutch this time.
Oh, well, we appreciate your honesty. Yeah.
Yes, but I thought what we could do that could be an interesting exercise for this is I'm going to read you what Chat GPT said about each of the men, and then Nikki, you and I can react to it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with Mr. Big. You just kind of have to. Mr. Big, played by Chris Noth, he is the unattainable romantic. In terms of archetype, he is the elusive, emotionally unavailable soulmate. I want to say that might be one of the more specific archetypes I've ever heard, but it's a thing, I'm sure. He's Charismatic, successful, mysterious, and represents the fantasy that the right woman will finally make him commit. He and Carrie are the defining romance of the series. Big is he's in the first episode, the last episode, and he really appears pretty much throughout every single season. So he is like this ever presence on the show, if you will. How do you feel about this?
The first sentence you read said something about something romantic,
unattainable romantic.
Unattainable romantic. That runs counter to the second part, which is the emotionally unavailable, which is how I find him. I don't find him romantic at all.
Oh my God, it's so funny. We have the same feedback.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my
well,
God.
Sometimes we come down on the opposite side of
It's
things.
true. We really do.
I never know which way it's going to go.
Yeah. Today's a good day.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
How can you be elusive and romantic?
Yeah. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
I'm sure it can happen, but it's tough because you have to be thoughtful and intentional.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we don't really, that was one of the disappointments of his character and Carrie's like obsession with him to me is he wasn't thoughtful and he didn't do nice things for her. And for the most part, in the episodes I've seen.
I'm going to give two counters that I thought of immediately that I always thought was romantic. But I also think that one of these is going to be like, dang, so starved for it that this seemed really good.
Uh-oh.
Okay. This is after post breakup, the one, her 35th birthday, where she has the meltdown, okay, because no one shows up. But then when she gets back after all the girls have gone out for that, like, you know, session where they're like talking through it, and he shows up in the town car, and all you see are the red balloons come out of the window, and he's brought those for her, and then opens champagne. They're not together then. I do think that there's something romantic about him showing up for that. But again, there's such a starvation there for it.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty unavailable.
And it really seems like a couple of balloons is the least you can do for a girl on her birthday.
He is the most romantic when they're not together. My
Yeah.
second example, they got a lot of hand motions going on right now. Sorry, Nikki. But it's when he's about to move and she finds out to Napa, which by the way, he didn't feel the need to tell her. And they're dancing to Moon River in the living room. I thought that was very romantic. And I thought it was romantic too, because he's not someone, you know, we'll get to this episode next time. This is the man who never said anything about taking his mother to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
But he like talks about his parents going out in the 60s and what they were like. And like, he is like more open and vulnerable than you see him in most episodes. But again, I'm going to say he was willing to do this when they weren't together, which I think tells you everything that you need to know about the archetype of Big.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about Mr. Big?
No, I'll allow your two counters because I immediately thought of the moving to Napa. But I thought of it the flip of that. So I wasn't thinking about them dancing. I was thinking about, and he couldn't even be bothered to tell her he was moving to Napa.
Well,
so unavailable.
So the thing is like, you know, I like to say two things can be true at once.
Yeah.
And when it comes to some of the characters on this show, it's like 7 can be true at once.
Yeah.
So exactly. He like it is even in the shiny moments, there is still that unavailability to her for a vast majority of the series, and that's just who he is, and that is not romantic. I think it can be intoxicating for a woman
For sure.
So especially depending on your brand of damage. So
fair enough.
I mean, healing journey. Trey McDougal, played by Kyle MacLachlan. I also feel like, speaking of things I can't, names
It's
that can't
hard.
be said well.
That's hard. There's like a lot of consonants
It's
together.
really tough. There's too many L's too close together. I don't know what's happening. He is the safe traditionalist. His archetype is the perfect on paper husband. Trey is wealthy, polite, socially ideal. He comes with family expectations and rigid norms. And most unfortunately for Charlotte, he is emotionally and sexually repressed. I think I added the unfortunately for Charlotte part, actually. That wasn't ChatGPT. His character shows that the perfect husband isn't necessarily the right partner. How do you feel about this, Nikki?
Yeah. That's 100% spot on. That's 100% spot on. And that's probably what's most appealing about Charlotte's journey through the series for me, is that she gets to experience that. That was her number one goal in life, was to marry the perfect on paper husband, because I think in her mind, perfect on paper was perfect in real life. And she has this realization that that's not true. And that's what makes her story so appealing, because you can relate to that and you see it happen, and you know it's happening, and you know it sucks, and you know it's going to be a hard journey for her. But it is kind of satisfying to watch her have that journey and end up with someone who is not perfect on paper, but is fulfilling to her. His character might be one of the more tragic characters in the series for me. I feel really bad for him.
You get it, right?
I
like
do.
because like there is this sadness, and we get that. I don't want to steal too much from the next episode and the one we missed episodes, but like I think you get actually more of that, again, repression.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just resigned to live this way. This is the way my family did it. This is the way my dad did it. And like, you know,
And they'll be so disappointed in me if I don't carry on the tradition.
it's so awful.
It's
Even
really,
if the tradition is stupid.
it's really sad, because, you know, Charlotte is unfulfilled in this marriage. He almost accepts the unfulfillment. Like, this is, like you said, this is just part of life. This is the way it is for the McDougal men. And there's just a real tragedy in that.
For sure. So, okay. All right. Good job, ChatGPT. I also agreed. Steve Brady, moving on, played by David Eigenberg. He is the reformed playboy. His archetype is the lovable everyman. Steve is working class, emotionally open, and loyal, a contrast to the wealthy Manhattan men, messy but sincere. He represents real love over status or sophistication for Miranda.
Only thing I got caught on was reformed playboy. Help me with that. Oh, okay.
Me too.
Okay. Did he have some sort of history?
Okay, so here's the thing. We do eventually learn that he was a bit of a playboy in the episode where he and Miranda compare numbers.
Steve?
Because his were quite high. Yes. I think his numbers were like, look, it's not me to frame whose are high, but just like numerically speaking, like, I don't care. It's fine. But like, they were far higher than Miranda's. Okay. And
Okay.
Miranda was like, I think his were like in the hundreds.
Good.
And she was
Steve?
feeling bad about the 30s. Did remember he said, I'm a bartender and I'm cute. That was like his response about it. And then Carrie has like a narration. She was like, reminder, when women have a lot of sex partners, they're slutty. And when a man has a lot of sex partners, he's cute.
He's cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the only Playboy thing, but I had the same reaction because Playboy is like a very specific connotation. We have one in our grouping, so we'll get to them. But I just don't think it's Steve, and I think Steve was always a smitten kitten for Miranda.
For Miranda? Yeah.
Like, he would have always stayed. Miranda was always the one cutting him loose, not the other way around.
Yeah. Again, this is in our next batch of episodes, but we definitely see where he says, like, it's always been you. Like, I've never not wanted you.
Spoiler, when they broke up, he did very, like, in the maybe second or third season, I can't remember. I'm sure it's going to drive someone crazy who's listening, but like, they break up and he is very, like, but they still have to live together. And I think there is one night where he brings a woman home, and like, so not a good look, but again, they were broken up.
They were on a break.
He should not have done that. It was her home.
Yeah.
You know,
that sucks.
Yeah. New York, though, hard place for real estate. Alexander Petrovsky, I don't know what accent that was, to be honest, played by Mikhail Brishnikov. Fun fact, which I think I've shared with you separately, but I don't think I've ever talked about here. My mom won like some kind of prestigious award for ballet when she was younger, and she was part of a class that he taught.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't think you've shared that with me. If you have, really? I've forgotten it.
Okay.
Sorry.
So what is old is new again? Or not, because maybe I never told you. But he, you know, if people don't know, he is a huge figure in ballet. Like, one of the most famous male, I don't know, are they still ballerinas? Ballet dudes?
I typed out ballerina in the book club episode, and I was like, that doesn't feel right. So I go with ballet dancer.
Ballet dancer. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is probably what we should be calling everybody. I
Yeah.
don't know. Anyways, so one of the most integral ballet dancers in modern history. So, anyways, it's very cool for my mom.
That's cool.
She said he's kind of rude. So, but I don't know.
Cool.
I wasn't there. He is the passionate artist. And according to ChatGPT, his archetype is the worldly, intoxicating older lover. Alexander is cultured, sophisticated, intense, sweeps Carrie into a glamorous life, but is also emotionally self absorbed. He was the, quote, seductive fantasy of romance and art over stability.
Oh, wow. I did not think he was like self-absorbed in any way. I didn't take that away. Even in the episode, and we'll get here eventually, where he and Carrie talk about Samantha's cancer, I think Carrie was being a big baby, honestly.
She wasn't listening.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if she had heard what he was trying to say, yeah. But I agree with everything else. He's very intense and very passionate. Obviously artistic. I was struggling to square the romantic, like, artist side of him with the Russian side of him, because I also think there's something very specific about the Russian experience of his generation. Like, you can only expect so much of them. You know what I mean?
I do.
They've been through something very specific.
I do think you're going to get, I think we got a little, again, this is, I hate that it's happening in this way, but it's in the next batch of episodes. And it's where she wants him to meet the women, like all her friends. And he's like, it's like the opposite of Big. Cause he's like, that's great. They're your people. I want to meet them. But then he has like stuff with his installation come up, and she comes over anyway, thinking that she'll surprise him. And he's actually very like, it's like a hard boundary. I think he could have delivered it more softly, but I would also like to attribute it to the Russian thing. Yeah. I don't know. There's just like, it's a different culture.
It's a different culture.
It's not. There is warmth there, but it's a different kind of warmth. I don't think it's the same thing as like American warmth.
Yeah.
And he was setting a boundary. He was like, I'm working, you know? And, so I didn't take it to be like too emotionally self-absorbed. I do think you're going to get that in the series finale.
Okay.
So, we'll get there.
Okay.
I think he's the most truly textbook romantic partner that Carrie is with. So when I think of like this comparison to Big, where they called him a romantic, I'm like,
yeah.
I think he's a romantic.
Yes, 100%. He reads her poetry. He writes her poetry.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we'll get to all of that in our next batch of episodes, and it is quite intense and and it's funny, and it's a really good plot line. But I also just really think that most everything that they're saying does fit here. He had this way of taking Carrie and making her act almost a little bit like a little kid. I don't know if it's like the age difference. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the post Big and Aiden of it all for her. She's obviously this very creative and expressive person too, but she tended to shrink in his presence and let him take the lead on things, which was a little un-Carrie-like. But I also think that she may have felt like, I don't know if it's not good enough, but like he was such like a fancy person, and like this, but like Big was fancy, but he was fancy in like an artsy way that made like
and international.
Yes. And
he was
so
exposed
I think it was
to
just,
so much.
Right. Like famous. Like Big wasn't famous, but this guy's like famous. So
I kept thinking of it and you said age difference. Maybe the age was part of it. It was definitely a maturity difference. He was mature in a way that Carrie wasn't. And that became crystal clear when you watch the two of them interact on things. I was just like, oh my God, Carrie, like she's like 40 years old and can't say the word death. She can't think about it. And a lot of times when I was in these episodes watching them together, her like lack of culture became really obvious. Like they're basic things that he's exposing her to, like her reaction to Russian food. And I was just like, at 40 years old, you don't know that it's not kosher to like It wasn't Russian food. I think that was French food at that instance. But she was like, it's like meat jello. I was like, that's just such an unrefined way to approach someone taking you to a really nice dinner.
Yeah.
So I think it was a maturity distinction.
That's fair. Moving on to Harry Goldenblatt. Blatt? Is that
Blatt.
weird? Goldenblatt? Goldenblatt?
Goldenblatt.
What's happening? It doesn't matter.
So
Played
cultured.
by Evan Handler. I can say his name. Harry is the nice guy husband. His archetype is I almost said architect, is the unexpected soulmate. He's not flashy or conventionally romantic. Warm, supportive, deeply devoted, grounded, and emotionally mature. And he shows Charlotte that real partnership can look different from the fantasy.
1,000%. Spot on.
Right. It's just
No notes.
my note says, no notes, AI. You are a supreme leader and overlord.
Let's leave it at that. Let them hear us say that. What she said. Overlord. You overlord well.
Big winks, you know? Aidan Shaw, played by John Corbett, the intellectual idealist. And his archetype is the good man who wants the healthy relationship. He is honest, nurturing, grounded, wants commitment and stability, ultimately incompatible with Carrie's chaos, and narratively, Aidan was the, quote, right guy at the wrong time.
Yes. Yes, a lot of that's right. I wonder what this says about the opposites attract concept, what Aidan and Carrie say, because they are opposites in a lot of ways. And it just didn't work. It just wasn't the right match.
Yes. Yes, I have that in my mind. Aidan is the right guy for someone,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make him the right person for
Or
Carrie.
Carrie, yeah.
He was perfectly nice, but at the end of the day, the way they wanted to live and the way that they planned to move through the world in their lives was really quite incompatible. Like, he wants to be out in the country. She wants to be in the city. He wants to eat fried chicken in bed. I'm on board, so I got no problems. But like, she wants to be out at a cocktail bar, you know.
1,000%.
She wants to be with the movers and the shakers, and he doesn't care about any of that. So I also think that, like, okay, he's honest and nurturing and grounded, fine. But I think labeling him as incompatible with Carrie's chaos is an ungenerous read of her.
It's not fair.
When I watch it now, what she is doing, but she doesn't know it. Like, her body is reacting in that wedding dress in that one episode. All of those things, it's like her inner knowing is telling her, this is not the one for you. And she keeps trying to stuff it down because he is honest, nurturing, and grounded. But that doesn't, again, it doesn't make him the partner for her. Also, just for the record, intellectual idealist.
Do you struggle with that one?
I did.
I saw him read once, I think.
I don't know. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either. We didn't really get that.
he's like a with his hands guy. You know, he's like makes furniture.
He
and it's,
strikes
like,
me as a
beautiful
hippie.
furniture. Yeah.
Like a go with
he's
the
out in
flow,
nature.
which doesn't make you
Yeah.
not an intellectual, but when you use the word
No.
intellectual, I think like bookish and like in intellectual circles, and he's not quite that. He's like out, like you said, in nature and feeling the world.
Like, when I think of an intellectual idealist, like Malcolm Gladwell, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like just like a different person. I think, like, very philosopher energy.
Yes.
And I just don't get any of that from Aidan.
No.
Not in the character that they built. So
No. Grounded for sure.
not the overlords can't get it right every time.
Not every
That's what I'm
time.
trying to say.
It's okay. It's okay. People are complex.
Anything else you want to talk about Aidan before we move on to Richard?
Aiden, for me, is the example of how we learn something about ourselves by the characters that appeal to us. So Aiden is very much the man of this collection that resonates the most with me. And I think, that definitely says something about my style. And I will save the rest of that for later. But when you say, like, he's grounded and incompatible with Carrie, that gives away which Sex and the City main female character I'm not, because Aiden definitely appeals to me, and it didn't work with Carrie. But I think that would have been the most ideal match for me.
You think John Corbett, you could have like really had something?
He's dreamy.
You and at least half of Sex and the City watchers, I would say.
He's dreamy.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely dreamy for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and who's the lady that runs down the beach in the bathing suit that he's married to? She's quite a bit older than him.
Oh my gosh.
Very hot. Yep.
This is related to Extra Sugar this week.
Yeah. Will you look that up?
Yeah.
Well, she's in that movie's like, it's called 10 or something. And then like.
Not the word I thought you were going to say.
Oh, come on, Nikki. It's a clean podcast. I'll start looking into it. I'm going to start talking about Richard, though. So, he's played by
Derek.
James. Thank you, Bo Derek. Okay.
You're welcome.
There was a very interesting documentary on her that came out maybe a year or two ago. Worth a watch. She went through a lot. Anyways, Richard Wright, played by James Remar. He is the powerful but emotionally unavailable tycoon. His archetype is the alpha executive and commitment-phobic player. I love the specificity of these. He's powerful but controlling. I like it as if powerful is like this really wonderful thing, but also controlling. It's just really interestingly said. Sexually confident, emotionally detached, and a chronic cheater. Narratively, he wasn't just a love interest for Samantha. He was a turning point.
Oh, okay. So, yes, for the first bit of it, I do have to say, I don't feel like I got necessarily enough of the Richard, like, affected Samantha to know. I know what she was like before, and I kind of see what she was like after, but I don't know that I got enough of the middle stuff to know how much he changed her. But all the other stuff at the beginning, I can co-sign. Like, he's very emotional. He's very clear. He's not monogamous. That's not for him. He's very clear that, like, he's always going to be sort of messing around. At some point, he does, I guess, tell her they're going to be exclusive and agrees with that. And I just don't know that his personality was compatible with that, and she was unable to see and feel that.
Well, it's kind of like she knew that he was cheating.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
we
he
did
tried
see
to
that
make
episode.
her feel crazy.
Yeah, he gaslit her. It's true.
Yeah, that was rough.
That was pretty messed up. That's true. That episode was a long time ago. That's very true. We did.
But
see
to
that.
your point, if she had really listened to her gut, then she would have known that he was never truly going to be able to be monogamous to her, because he had already told her who he was.
So many times.
Yeah.
So many times.
I think this is just such a stereotype that I just don't think ChatGPT could like help but nail this one. When I think of a playboy, I think of him. Actually, I think of an F-boy, which is like a little different. Richard is the reason I can't take Steve's label as a reformed playboy seriously.
100%.
Because to me, this is it.
Yeah.
Also, when I read down through his description, it sounds awful.
Just like terrible.
Like, who's signing up for that?
And like, from a casting perspective, interestingly, he is not the person that I would have put in that place. This is shallow. I don't find him attractive enough for any of those things to be redeeming. And maybe that was intentional, but like, I'm like, Samantha is drop dead gorgeous. She's been with every man, every type of man, every look of a man. And this is the one that she gets hung up on. I don't get it.
I mean, I do think he's like an old school good looking. Like, it's just, there's like not an ounce of pretty boy in him, which we'll get to the next one, which is like the complete opposite, I think, visually.
Yeah.
Because Smith is almost like pretty, you know?
He is.
And it's just different.
Even when he shaves his head, he's pretty.
The whole thing. Yeah, I'm like, well, of course you can shave your head.
Right.
I shave my head. I look like the back of a butthole. So.
The back of a butthole. Okay. It's very specific, Salina, and thank you for that.
Just saying. It's just different stuff. Anyways, so Smith, we'll just go ahead and skip on to him. Or Smith Jared or Jerry. The man has many names.
He goes by many names.
many names. He's played by Jason Lewis, the devoted, evolved partner. He is the archetype of the unconditional lover, the reformed ideal man, emotionally available, loyal and grounded, supportive partner, secure masculinity. And narratively, Smith shows Samantha what love can look like and that attachment does not equal weakness.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to process.
Oh, how do you feel, Nikki? Because you have not really been able to spend a lot of time with Smith. What have you had? Like maybe 2 episodes, and one of them they were just having sex the whole time.
Yeah. Well, and one of the
But
episodes,
he is open.
it's it's going to be in the next batch of episodes, but it's related to Samantha's cancer. So I do get to see him be there for her. And it was so sweet. It was so sweet. I think he was too sweet for her. He ultimately is just too sweet for her. But I'm really glad she got to have that experience, especially after Richard, because she deserved it. She deserves to meet someone like that. In your summary, I don't understand. Do you say reformed idealist? I don't know what that means.
Hold on just a second. Reformed ideal man. I think the reformed part is the fact that he's in AA.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So like he's had some stuff. He's gone through some stuff, but now he's the ideal man. We don't know what Smith was like when he was at the height of his addiction. That's something that we miss completely. Mm-hmm. We just know that he's very serious about his sobriety. Mm-hmm. And that probably does make him a better partner than what he may have been like. And he's young. So, normally people are not maybe their best partner in the early to mid 20s. So I think for me, he is more like a fantasy than a real person.
Oh, okay.
I also think about this time period, though, now 20 years ago, but he really represented what I would think of as a shift in men in general, especially when you put him up against someone like Richard.
Yeah.
So a baby boomer versus like a Gen X. Mm-hmm. And men are suddenly more in touch with their feelings. They were willing to be more vulnerable. They weren't as obsessed with status. There's even research that talks about, like the Freakonomics stuff, that talks about how that generation was raised more by women. And so, like, vulnerability, because divorce rates were so much higher.
Yeah.
And so that vulnerability was allowed. It was taught. It was encouraged. But
that's interesting.
There are episodes, I do want to say, where Samantha struggles with this because there were parts of her that miss that aggressive side of someone like Richard. I would argue it's because you get emotionally attached to the toxicity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean by he was too sweet for her. It was too much for her. It was like she was kind of a different generation of woman too. And obviously a different type of woman than what I think fits well with Smith. Like that just wasn't ever going to work for her. It was a good learning experience for her. And I think she got to have a really good relationship out of it, which I think she deserves. But I just don't know that was appealing to her. He definitely was not her like normal type. And when you go against your normal type, it's not usually going to work out well.
That's true.
Even if you learn something from it.
Even if they're beautiful.
Oh, so beautiful.
Even if you just sit there and look at them.
Yep. But good for her for letting herself live in that. Maybe that's reflective of learning something from Richard.
There's one episode, it didn't make any of these batches, but there's a whole, and as you know, I have been an emotionally repressed person at different points in my life. And that part of myself really sees Samantha, not a hugger, not a toucher, all of these things. And there's a whole episode dedicated to the fact that he keeps trying to hold her hand and she keeps snatching it away. So much so that one time she falls in like a manhole or something.
Oh, gosh.
And it's so good. That was actually like a really good episode. And it's funny because it's like juxtaposed with them having like this pretty outrageous sex. And then she's like, and then he tried to hold my hand.
The intimacy.
Ugh. How dare he? And 19-year-old me was like, yes, don't you hold my hand.
Oh, poor Smith. He's a sweetie.
That's why healing is important.
It is. Take care of yourself, Salina.
That's right. I'll hold a hand. So that's the end of our archetypes. I hope you felt good about that.
Great. the best.
I spent a little bit more time on it since these are characters that, they didn't get their own deep dive. We're kind of smushing it all into one episode, and this was my way of giving them a little bit more due. So I hope that was okay with you.
That was lovely. I appreciated it.
Wonderful.
Are we ready to go to watch party notes?
Let's party. Just party it up.
Okay. I don't know. I was going to make a joke. It's silly. Okay. Let's talk about 5 top moments that stuck with each of us. With the, I'm going to loosen the rules a little bit and say that several of mine are going to go to women, which goes against the topic of our main episode. But in this batch of episodes, I got to give some to the women. So I'll start with season 3, episode 10, Charlotte's negotiation with Bunny over the prenuptial agreement. She's not aggressive. She just points out like all of the unfortunate, in quote, things that would happen if she walked away from this marriage. The arrangements aren't all done, so that part of things are fine. But of course, Trey would be devastated. And then there's that pesky times announcement. If that ran and the wedding didn't go through, like people would have questions. And Bunny is the one, as Charlotte is negotiating these things, Bunny is the one that breaks first and says, "What do you want?" And Charlotte gets to come back with like such a crisp, "I'm worth $1 million." I died over that. I thought that was such an example of good writing for sure. They made Charlotte say everything that was authentic to her. Like, it's not like Charlotte to go Samantha style on Bunny, pulling out the expletives, maybe landing some low blows about the family. It's not like Charlotte to go Carrie and just like run away and hide out and write about her indecision over this prenuptial agreement thing. And it's not like Charlotte to go Miranda and go like straight in and, lawyer negotiation. It's more Charlotte to be soft, but then Kristen's performance like sells it, so she goes in soft, she goes in matter of fact, but like not aggressive. She makes it really soft, she makes it really sweet, but also there's like a Sour Patch Kid to it. The whole conversation really could have gone either way, but Charlotte knew what she wanted and she knew how to negotiate it, and I just loved that whole performance. That was a top moment for me.
It was really good. And also, I like the women's talk about them telling her how much she's worth, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like leading up to that.
Yeah.
And so it felt like a little bit about a callback, but also like sometimes I do believe when you're talking with the people who matter and can really get through to you, that sometimes those things stick in your head and then you take them along because you actually are listening and that feedback really matters. And I think that really is also speaks to those friendships as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a great moment. I have lots of thoughts that will be in another section, though, about just that.
Oh, yeah.
Larger.
Just the whole concept.
Decision point by the McDougals. So really love that. I also cheated.
Good.
It's not cheated. It's just like whatever. We're just making it work. So season 4, episode 10, Bells of the Balls. I'm taking a bit of a left turn, is what I'm calling it, instead of just full on cheating. This moment where Carrie is unpacking the men in her and her friends' lives, she says, "I spent the afternoon thinking about my friends. Body image depression, unpredictable mood swings, late night phone calls, obsessing about a relationship. Did I mention these are all my male friends? So maybe men and women aren't from different planets, as pop culture would have us believe. Maybe we live a lot closer to each other, perhaps, dare I say it, even in the same zip code." I included this one initially for different reasons because we get to see Aiden and Big together for the first time since the affair. That's why I did it.
Okay.
But in watching this one, what I realized is that it's perfect because it's a front seats to the vast majority of the major male characters in this show. And we get to see them be vulnerable with the women in their lives, and even if it takes them a minute to get there, it happens. And even a few of them are vulnerable with each other in this episode at some point later towards the end of the episode. So I thought that was something that stuck out to me in this watch and thinking about like sort of the goals of this episode.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. In that same episode, I wanted to call out Samantha's performance when she goes to Richard's office to find out
Oh
if she
yeah.
got the job, and he tells her she didn't. And he says it's because she slept with a construction lead or something. And she says, if I was a guy, you would have shaken my hand and bought me a scotch and given me a key to the office. Then she is like holding back tears as she gets to the elevator and finally like lets it flow. I feel like this was her realizing for the first time in a long time, or the first time ever, that the world really sucks for women, and that no matter how many times she tries to convince herself that she's bigger than that or more than that, or tries to ignore that fact, it remains. And it's a just rare moment of vulnerability for her character, like in a world where she sees nothing but opportunity and no boundaries, where she finally realizes like, man, this blows. Like I will never be able to be the same thing that men are. And I think that is a pivotal moment for her character for me. I haven't seen that yet.
Yes. The flu episode.
Yeah. I have thoughts
So
on that
like
one too.
yeah, I think that's a great point. It really was a when she gets to that elevator and she's trying to hold in those tears, man, if you haven't experienced that in your life, wow.
Yeah.
Because it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And you know, you and I have been talking we had talked offline a little bit about how women react to the world around them
Mm-hmm.
just based on the era they grew up in. And this
Yeah.
is a very specific era that she would have grown up in.
Yeah.
And just not really even having the permission to call it out.
Mm-hmm.
Not having the except for with her female friends.
Right.
But and then she does to a certain extent, but then she still has to like run away.
Yeah. Right.
And I think it doesn't change anything. And it's like for me, I will just say where I'm at in the world as a woman is like I am someone who will call things out. And even in my own marriage, like, oh, we're practicing patriarchy today.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is like, when do we get to the next step
Yeah.
where I don't want to just call it out anymore? I want to change it,
Yeah.
you know? And that doesn't mean making things crappy for men. That means making everything good for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
I think changing it sometimes just looks like calling it out with your spouse. Like, saying, there have been a few moments over the last probably, I don't know, 5 years of my life, especially in the professional world, where I've been able to open Kyle's eyes to things that in the professional world and also in parenting, open his eyes to things, a unique experience for women that he was non-existent to him previously because he's not had to experience. Exactly. Selena's making the face of like just not noticing these things, not being like exposed
The
to them.
curtains
Like
are closed.
they can't, you don't know what you don't know, and it's not their experience. So it's our job to translate that for them and to help open their eyes. And we have this great opportunity to be someone they trust and they respect and they admire. And so we get to share that perspective, and they have a reason to believe it. Other women can say it, but they have no reason to believe it. We're women they love and respect. And so when we point it out, they're like, oh crap, this is real. And I think that's what change, the first step of change looks like, because your husband is a role model for his nephews, and he is a person that goes out in the world with his coworkers, and he gets to be the person now that calls it out and says, like, you see where this is wrong, right? My husband is a dad, and so he is role modeling something very specific for our daughter and our son. And because I've called it out to him, he can then transition that to something that he's displaying for them. So I think we're moving. It's that slow progress thing, but just calling it out sometimes is the key.
Yeah. See, this is more than a show.
It is. It really is. It is.
I mean, it really does make you think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've had a few moments where I've had to tell myself, like, it's just a TV show. It's not that deep. But it is. It is that deep.
I'm very excited to get to my dislikes for this one.
Okay.
or whatever. What's dusty in this one, I think, is really important because I think there's something telling underneath what like didn't work for me.
Okay.
But what did work for me was also in Bells of the Balls. This one is going to come up a lot for me. I'm just going to go ahead and say it's probably my favorite out of this batch. But
Okay.
I can't have listed like these things that are like these pivotal moments and not talk about the Aiden and Big fight.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like it's just kind of impossible. I've been so excited for you to see this episode.
Yeah.
Everything that led up to it, the sheer audacity of Big driving up to Aiden's cabin to talk to Carrie, like
No. And then sitting outside and laying on the horn to get her to come out because it's in the rain because it's uncomfortable for him to go inside. That whole thing, I was just like, who
wild.
are you?
It's so crazy. I would just never. I don't know. But then Aiden is also like peak in this episode as well. He's like, and I understand the point is well taken, but this passive aggressive banging of the basketball outside the house, knowing that
Such
he's
a man
like,
thing.
I know, just knowing that he's like in there and hung over as hell, and then. Of course, Carrie is like, she is continuing to try and bring these two together. She like, go outside and play basketball. Isn't that what y'all do? These two men who could like, I can barely even see Big playing basketball. Like that doesn't even really go with his character to me. But it, of course it bowls over where suddenly they're like rolling around on the ground and fighting outside.
I call it tussling.
Oh, that's good. I like it. A tussle.
Just a lot of tussling happening. There's no
we're
punching,
Southern.
just
Yeah.
tussling.
That's right. They're feeling each other out.
They're feeling
Batman
each
and
other
the green
something.
bee, if you will, as she calls them. The green bee. But her reaction, I will tell you that multiple times a year, this phrase goes through my head that, stop it! You're middle-aged! Which is something I've been telling myself lately.
Stop it. You're too old for this.
You need that. Like, you got to pull yourself back sometimes. So did you like that? Did that work?
That
for
was
you?
that was a top moment for me too. I feel like there was something so gratifying about watching it finally play out, and not play out in a cerebral way, playing out in a very physical and truly a middle-aged way. Like, you notice there's no throwing punches. They are literally just rolling around.
These men know what their moneymaker is in real life and on the
right.
show.
That's so true. The other thing that really worked in this whole piece of things for me was the comic relief at the end. So we get this like emotional release by watching them sort of fight. That sort of is the release valve, right? Like we get a little bit of that, but we also get the comedic release at the end when he and Aiden go inside and they're eating breakfast and they're finally like seeing each other, and Big is saying the same thing he's been saying to Carrie throughout this whole episode. I mean, she could always reach me, but I could never get her. And Aiden is like, I know what you mean. Like they're having this very real connection. I loved that so much.
It was so great. That is my cheesecake moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that then. Like, and
Your
it's
Cosmo
so good
connection.
Yes. And we don't really get to thank you. We don't really get to see the men interact a lot. Steve and Aiden is about the best that we get. And you don't really get any of those.
I haven't gotten much.
A whole plot line that has somehow missed all of this, just so you know. I don't know how we've missed the whole thing, but there is some parts where you may have heard Miranda encouraging Steve to open his own bar. He does.
Okay.
With Aiden. They have a bar together.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So that might help
and
explain.
That's just all missed you.
We had one episode where Miranda, I think it was the one where Miranda finds out she's pregnant, and Carrie tells Aiden, and she says, don't tell Steve. And I remember thinking, like, why would he tell Steve? Like, they don't even seem like they're really friends. Are we just going to shove these men together? Okay.
Yeah.
That would explain that a little bit.
It's not a spoiler. It's just, we'll just call it context for you in case you decide that you, hopefully I'm not spoiling too much in case you ever decide that you just want to watch more of the show. But.
Oh, I think we've hit the high points. I mean, I will watch the show, but I think we've watched enough that like there's no spoiling it at this point.
It's fine. Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. All the best spoils have already probably taken place.
Yes.
Maybe. Except for the end. You still have that to look forward to. So season 5, episode 8, I love a charade. Mm-hmm. This is a little off book, but it's it is a man involved. I went with Miranda and baby Brady at the wedding.
Oh,
It was kind of like we watched him imprint on her for the first time.
oh,
He's
that's
like one.
true. That's true.
There's an
Yeah.
acceptance and love here, and it's a really beautiful scene. And there's these inklings that we're getting that she's like still in love with Steve.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
the lilac and let's call
Let's
daddy
call
and all of
Daddy.
that
That one
was,
got me. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good
And it was
call.
just beautiful, and he just looked so cute, and like it was
Yeah.
just sweet and
Very
lovely.
sweet. Because she's
Uh,
really struggled to accept being a mom. And I
yes.
like the way you position that. Like when she first imprints and like finally recognizes like this is going to be a very important relationship and an important person in my life.
Yeah, and Miranda's journey is really interesting too because you do see even with these friends that are very close, there's like times where she does feel on the outs,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
like they're pushing her to the side. And I think like knowing like yes, but also Brady is her family.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
so like having that realization I think is a big thing for her character.
Yeah.
What are your other top moments?
I had one more I wanted to bring up. It was season 6, episode 16. When are we allowed to call him Alex or do we always have to call him Alexander?
I don't. I think you can call him whatever you want. I like to shorthand it. They call them the Russian on the show a lot, and that is easier to pronounce. Or
Yeah.
like sometimes I call him Petrovsky. So
Okay,
it's
that
okay.
guy, when he finally gets to tell his story about his friend Sophie, who dies of cancer, and then he reveals that the reason he's really been continuing to push this and trying to tell Carrie about this is because he was so blindsided by the loss of his friend that he didn't want Carrie to feel that. I thought that was really beautiful and maybe the most fitting example of where I think I finally realized Carrie never actually grew up. Like you said earlier, she wasn't listening. Yeah, she couldn't see this is where this was going and why he continued to say it. And he had this very mature thing that he wanted to share with her and wanted to have this moment with her and connect with her emotionally. And she just like couldn't hear it because he was using the ugly word dead with one of her best friends. And I really had so much respect for his character in that moment.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of interesting if you think about it. She hasn't really had a long-term relationship. Long-term relationships grow you up.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have kids. Kids grow you up. I mean, I don't have a single friend that I didn't see like a big change in their personality,
Yeah.
you know? And it can happen in a myriad of ways. And most of them are very beautiful ways. But it's like once you're responsible for someone's life, or once you're so invested in another person that like your finances start to rely on each other, you're like, there's just a thing. Like, it just exercises this different part of you. And so I think part and parcel to what you're saying is like she doesn't really have any of those things that like make you grow up.
Yeah.
She's in a rent controlled apartment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? She doesn't own. Like she
Yeah.
can walk away anytime except for her shoe collection.
And that's probably why so many girls at like 19 and 20 watching this show the first time loved Carrie. And now that they're a little bit older and they're rewatching the show, they're looking at her less kindly because they've had those experiences. They maybe have grown up a lot and now they're rewatching this and they're like, oh my God, how old is this woman? She is acting like a 24-year-old. That's what I see. I still love the character of Carrie. And
Mm-hmm.
because I'm also like, cognizant of the fact that my own life experiences are what make me watch TV characters and judge them a certain way. It's also what makes you judge people in real life a certain way. Is it's like your own stuff you're putting on people. But I still like her as a character, and I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of interesting there. But it is a little otherworldly that someone could be in their late 30s. I lose track of how old she actually is at certain points in the show, but like late 30s and just not be able to have these adult conversations.
She is 38 in season 6.
Yeah.
There's everybody turns 38 except for Samantha.
Okay.
There's actually Charlotte turns 38 and they go to Atlantic City together.
Wow. You know,
Um,
it's kind of crazy. They didn't do a 40th birthday episode.
they didn't make it to 40.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I mean. Like,
Oh,
that
okay.
seems like a shame.
Yeah. Well, they would have had to go 2 seasons longer, which I would have been okay with.
Yeah.
I'll always come back and spend time with these ladies.
Yeah.
That's why I watched and just like that. So,
Did you have any other top moments?
just one. You've already mentioned it, so I'll be very brief here. Season 6, episode 16, Out of the Frying Pan, Smith shaving his head in solidarity with Samantha.
Oh, that was this batch of
It
episodes.
was.
Okay.
When you said it, I didn't think it was, and I was like, oh, I guess it was the next one. And then I realized it's sitting here in my notes.
Oh, my gosh.
We're going to do this. It's tough because we're, like, we had these back-to-back ones with a lot of the male characters.
Yeah. That was so sweet.
So sweet. I'm going to say this. The acting was not good. But, like, also, God bless that beautiful man.
What's his, I have not spent a lot of time looking him up. Is he a model in real life?
That's a good question.
Is he an actor?
I mean, he doesn't really, I don't know that he's done much else. Like, maybe he did, like, a stint on, like, a Law and Order kind of show or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that bad. It was just, there's the one line where he's like, shut up, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And it is, like, really sweet, but also you're like,
Ugh,
that was, like, not the best delivery, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like,
and that was the best version they got.
It but, like, the thing is, it's still, it's hard not to still love it. Because it is
I wept.
Kind.
It made me cry. I thought about, I have a friend whose mom went through cancer, and she, breast cancer, and she had her breasts removed. And my friend tells this story of watching her dad wash her mom's hair because it was too hard for her mom to get her arms up after her mastectomy. She couldn't wash her hair. And not the same story, but the point is watching a partner be there for their partner through something that life-changing. And again, I come back to the emotional maturity that it took for him to see, like, she needs me, and what can I do in this moment? And that's like almost like a trite storyline at this point, that the man's just going to shave his head to be like the woman. But I imagine in the early 2000s, that wasn't something that had happened a lot. I feel like that was probably something that hit a different emotional register as well, because we hadn't had the stand up to cancers and all that sort of stuff to that point. So I just imagine watching that the first time and being like overwhelmed by his thoughtfulness.
It also happens like after, so in the next one, when we watch one and she colors down below. But like, the reason I think I'm mentioning this is like that episode happens first, and this is like later in season 6, and it's like she has been very worried about him getting like grossed out by her age, or like just like realizing and being like, oh, run for the hills. And then like, so for him to dig in the way that he does when she gets sick and remains there and show, like, again, it goes back to that thing of like, there are people in the world who will just love you just as you are, and it doesn't matter what your age is, and it doesn't matter what color your pubic hair is, and it doesn't matter like if you have cancer or not. They're just going to be there because you are their person.
And it just takes Samantha a really long time to learn that.
Some of us need a couple of runs at the lessons. Not me.
Of course not.
Everyone else.
Everyone else.
I'm fine.
Sure. Totally.
You can tell by my use of the word fine.
And the little quiver in your voice as you say it.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite outrageous quotes that you want to bring up for the group?
So I won't read the full quote, but just Steve and Miranda, the doctor, about his testicle replacement. She says something along the lines of like, do you want to put a pinto near your penis, Steve? And I thought that was
pinto. I really laughed when she said that she dropped the ball. She had like a series of really good.
A lot of ball jokes in that one, yeah.
And they made me laugh every single time.
It's
her delivery is so good.
Yeah, she had a lot of good lines in that one. Carrie's astute observation about, I'm going to call it child growing. Do you realize you're growing a teeny tiny penis inside you? That's so sci-fi.
See, that one it gave me the ick.
Yeah, it was gross, but like also funny. They're outrageous quotes, Nikki.
That's true. Fair point. Fair point.
But I was also like, oh my God, it's true.
It's so true. It is true.
Like, ew. And then I felt bad for body shaming. So I went through a myriad of emotions all in that. I'm just going to go ahead you've talked about this one, but you talked about the other side of the conversation, which was like Samantha with Richard after he turned her down for the job. I really enjoyed that very relatable conversation that the women have about the workplace. Okay. So I'm going to run through it because it feels important. Excuse me.
So
emotional. It's so important. Emotional is just code for I don't want to hire a woman. Exactly. They're that way at my firm too. Think you're going to cry over a legal brief. Have you cried over a brief? Yes, but only in the privacy of my office. Charlotte, I cried once at the gallery. Once in 10 years. And from that day on, it was careful. Don't make Charlotte cry. I have never cried at work. I fake cried to my editor when I missed a deadline. I told him I was having a bad time at home, but really I was having a good time in the Hamptons. That makes the rest of us look bad. Boo-hoo, it was 80 degrees and sunny. A guy gets angry in a meeting. He's a pistol. A woman, she's emotional. If I say anything like, I don't think that's hung high enough, they say, careful, don't make Charlotte cry. What does he think I'm going to do? Get my period and ruin his empire? Yes, men wait. Let me rephrase that. Some men, good. That'll be much better on the court transcripts of this dinner. Some men are threatened by strong businesswomen. They have to find a way to make her be just a woman again. Hence, you're too emotional. I just think that's really, really important.
So it's a true conversation today, which is very sad. I hope it's something that's changing. This concept of a woman, if you exude passion at work, it's emotion, and a man does it and they're passionate about their job. I was just having this conversation with someone at work this last week. If a man does it, they're so passionate about the work we're doing. If a woman does it, it's that she's emotional. So I'm hoping that now that we're a generation that's in the workplace, we can start sort of shifting that narrative a little bit. It's kind of astounding that 26 years ago they were having this exact same conversation, and yet here we are.
Well, or that you and I have had the conversation. Yes, we understand why you're crying, but you better know the environment that you're in, and you may not want to do that.
Yeah.
But and it's not because of you,
right?
And it's not because of me, and it's not because we have a problem with your tears. But everybody's going to remember it. Actually, the Charlotte one was the one that I was like, yeah.
Charlotte was
you're the one
killing me. She was killing me because she kept coming back to it. But it's so true. Like you one time, and it sets this reputation of you for life.
Yes. And I want to say too, such good writing, because that is actually what girls' conversations feel like in a girls' lunch or brunch. Yeah.
Very frenetic.
Yes. There's no like through line.
But everybody's following.
Really.
Everybody follows. You know, and that's why like when a man comes in, you have to be like, dude, catch up. Come on. Because they just can't keep up with the pace of the conversation. But you're just like light speeds ahead or light years ahead because you all are on the same page. It's a universal. That's what makes that entire scene so relatable. It's universal. It's if you've been in a workplace, unfortunately, you've experienced some version of this.
Right. And and that's why I like to say, like, when it's patriarchy, that's why I like to say that it's not men, because it can be a group of women. And if somebody cries, it ain't good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not if it's like, if it's outside of the context of work, it's a little different.
Yeah.
If it's inside the context of work, it becomes a thing.
It's a whole thing. It's there's a lot of women on women crime in that circumstance.
Yeah. Which is too bad.
It really is.
What about you?
In season 3, episode 12, they're preparing for Charlotte's wedding. She says something about doing what the women needing to do what she wants because it's her week. And Miranda, of course, stops and says, day, it's your day. You get a day. And something about her delivery, I guffawed. It was so funny. It was so funny. Everybody has that friend that's like, well, I'm getting married this spring, so you have to do what I want. And you're like, no, what? You get the one day. The one day. Yeah. We'll do what you want for the one day.
I think we've all learned that Miranda doesn't have a high tolerance for weddings.
No.
Not even her own.
Not even her own. That was very clear. Season 5, episode 8, the one you just mentioned, where they go to the Hamptons. I'm going to forget the name of it now, but that's where Samantha's
I
holding.
love a charade.
Yes, thank you. Samantha's holding the party at Richard's house, and those well-endowed women come, and they're causing her all kinds of grief. And one of them calls her jealous, and Samantha says, "Yes, I'm dying to look like this." And she holds 2 cantaloupes up. Oh my gosh. I laughed out loud. I laughed out loud.
It's like that is another. There are several lines that live rent free in my head
Yes,
from
I'm
this
dying
series,
to look
and that's one
like
of
this.
them.
I have 2 more Samantha ones I want to mention. Season
Okay.
4, episode 15. I think Miranda, somebody says, once you get a rash from a guy, it's time to give it a heave ho. That's when Carrie gets the rash from the wedding dress. Samantha, maybe Samantha, I think it must be Samantha who says it, because then she follows up a couple minutes later and says, "You can take tap with Bojangles over here." She's talking about Charlotte trying to move on from her marriage. And just
Yes.
the timing was really great.
Yes.
And in that same episode, she says, "I think I have monogamy. I must have caught it from you people." And the way she says that is perfect. Peak Manning. Where were the men at their most extra?
Well, I have to go back to season 4, episode 10, Bells of the Balls, because that's where we really get this very like peak men, but like maybe not associated with men like stereotypically, but it's like a thing. And so you have Steve. He's in a deep depression over only having one testicle. I mean, he is like the living embodiment of life's just not worth talking about. Eeyore.
Yes.
I was gonna get there.
Oh, I didn't know you were looking for his name. I thought you were just giving us a...
Oh, a little
Yeah.
taster. Trey having a meltdown that he has to have his sperm count done. And then like
I know how inconvenient
Charlotte
that
is
must
just
be.
so prepared. Yeah, I know. It's so terrible. Let me introduce you to the stirrups.
The stirrups, the shot Charlotte, I'm sure, had to give herself along the way, the multiple invasive procedures she had to have done. But yeah, it really sucks to have to go in a room and pleasure yourself.
The fact that the fact that everyone always assumes that something's wrong with the woman.
Yeah, it's always her.
Yeah, what's going on with your ovaries? What's going on with your ovaries? Big losing his crap over a famous woman who is stringing him along in the most glorious of ways. It's really something.
She could always reach me, but I could never get her.
You get it? You get it. And then like the fight between him and Aiden. Like I think the only thing I really didn't cover before is, and I think you may have though, but it is such dude behavior. Like women settle things with words. And men, I'm being very stereotypical here. And men, like sometimes they just need to like just slap each other a little, just hit each other.
They just needed to do it. They just needed to do it. I think it's a
Right.
primal thing. I think it's a caveman, back to the early days thing.
And then it was fine.
And then everything was fine.
Yeah.
No notes. Totally agree. That was peak man. The other one that I would add is season 4, episode 15. Aiden pushing Carrie to get married, really because the big thing scared him. The whole thing with Big scared him. That feels like man 101. He's got to stake his claim, his territory. Things are wonderful between them. He's very insecure about the cheating. He's very insecure about her continuing to have this relationship with him. So he's going to settle the insecurity by staking his claim and making her his. And that's man 101.
Right. It was so funny. As I was like watching that episode at first, he's like, take as much time as you want. And he's like, I'm going to take you to Maui.
Take as much time as
Maui.
you want, as long as it's not too much time for me.
It was very, and it was just very telling.
Yeah. And that just, it breaks my heart because Aiden, like it just, hard eyes for Aiden, but then he did not come out well in that situation. But like, anyway, he's not wrong.
He gave it the old college try.
He tried. So you, I think, said earlier, you have some things that didn't age well that might make for interesting conversation. Interest me.
No pressure. I found this batch particularly sexist. The things that they were interfacing with. And it's just funny because like I pulled together a list that purposefully had more plots with men that showed you who these men are. And then I just had like a little side list going. I wasn't trying to do this, and then looked and I was like, huh, these are some of the most sexist things that I've seen across the series. Because one of the big things, I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, but like Sex in the City is kind of looked at as this, how do I put this? The epitome of post-feminism content.
Okay.
And by post-feminism, for those who don't know, I mean we fixed it.
Oh, okay.
And when we fixed it, I feel fixed. When we fixed it around
I still can't cry at work.
That's right, but fine, it's fine. When we fixed it, the advocacy went away to a large extent, and is a little bit like taking your eye off the ball, and then all you got to do is that's a different podcast, but we could take a look at the things that happened in the meantime, or we could take a look at the fact that they told you could have everything that you wanted, and then they were like, oh, but also you still have the domestic chores. Oh, but also you're the one that's going to take care of the children the most. Oh, but also you're going to get paid less than a man. Oh, but also the media is also going to judge everything that you do and occasionally write an article about it that is like seething and terrible and makes you feel bad no matter what decision you make, whether you make the decision to stay in the home, which is your right and you should be able to do that, or whether you go into the workplace, or whether you decide to not participate in domestic actions at all. No matter what, we're going to make you feel bad. And so that's a little bit of post-feminism, but the post-feminism I'm talking about is the part where they're like, everything's fine. We don't even really talk about it, like, because it's solved. And I think we do see that in some of the show. And then, but we also see things like we saw in this one. And I don't even know that it got enough attention, like how strange it is. Again, all or nothing McDougal prenup. I just want to be clear. They got zero money for having girls. This is written into the prenup. So if Charlotte had a girl, she would get zero money. Bonuses for having boys. Also, I'm just going to throw this out there. Bonuses for having babies at all is very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like a mayor, you know. So anyways, just the whole ding dang thing.
Well, and that's why Charlotte hated it so much.
Right.
It was
and
all
then she
weird.
Negotiated. Right. See, I think I would have had to walk away.
And that is probably
that would have been donezo for me.
Probably the tragedy of Charlotte's character is that if she didn't feel so obligated to marry the good on paper husband and had been able to listen to her gut, I think she would have walked away too, because yeah, it was all messed up.
Or like maybe we would have had to walk away from Bunny. You know what I'm saying?
And again, the tragedy of Trey's character is that he was not capable of doing that.
No, and you've also missed some content of like his enmeshed relationship with his mom, which is weird.
Does it involve bathing in front of her? I came across that in my research.
Yeah. That'll stick with you, you know?
Yep.
The other ones that I had, season 4, episode 15, and change of address. Magda, which you haven't had a lot of exposure to her, but this is Miranda's housekeeper.
When they get married and she's in the next episodes and she's like, it is happy moment. That's what I'll think of Magda.
Well, in this episode, when she finds out Miranda's having a boy, she says, a boy is highest blessing. And I guess a girl is scuzz on the bottom of your shoe. Like, I don't know. It's just funny. And then season 4, episode 10, Bells of the Balls. Richard, of course, we've talked about this, but his whole hiring process, we'll call it, with Samantha is just laden, not even with covert, but just overt sexism. I thought we had moved into covert by the early 2000s, you know, but it's just like, I work with men. Oh, okay. Well, congratulations, sir. Congratulations to you.
So is your thesis that they did a disservice to women with all of this sexism, or is your thesis that it's interesting that when you look at a show framed around women and you focus specifically on the men, that's when you really see how sexist the world remains. That one.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And I did not go in with that plan. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, I didn't. I just looked back and I was like, huh. Because, like, there's been a lot of times where I've noticed, like, again, it feels very post feminist. This isn't even really an issue.
Yeah.
Every now and then something will come up. And it's, like, naturally there because it's there.
Right.
So, whether or not they're calling it out on the carpet in the ways they had to in these episodes,
Yeah.
it's just, it wears differently, maybe.
Yeah.
And in this one, it just felt more present, more like in your face, and
Yeah.
more like egregious.
Yep.
Like the prenup thing is egregious. What Richard does is egregious.
Yeah,
you
100%.
know?
Yeah, that's
It's like
so interesting.
uncalled for and unacceptable. Yeah. So that's my
deep.
thesis.
That's
Thank
deep.
you.
Well observed.
I'm a lip miner.
You're the intellectual. Oh, I forget the other word they used for Aiden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Me
whatever.
too. It's right up here, but you know what? I'm not going back for it.
Nah, it's too far. I was going to call out season 3, episode 5, maybe just like the whole episode. More specifically, Samantha saying, I don't see color, I see conquest.
Yeah.
And then Carrie responds with, talk about affirmative action. And then we
That
all
whole
laugh.
Episode was tough.
Yep.
Did we? Yeah. Yeah. That whole episode was tough. Because remember, I queued that one up for you in another
Yes.
episode that we did. And I
Yes.
was like, here's a weird one that happened.
So she does a little bit of cultural appropriation. Like, I feel like she could have done a whole lot more. So that part of it, I wasn't actually like super offended by. But there's like a lot of stuff in this episode that happens. Like Stanford uses the F word and talking about the gay community at one point. Steve... Oh, and this is not offensive, but there were some other like things that made it dated. Steve won the chance to do the free throw at the Knicks game because he won a Sam Goody contest. Like, it's just very, and then the guy that Stanford was dating got a 3-foot Lady Di doll arriving from QVC. Like, all those words together were very late 90s, early 2000s. But the Samantha plot line was like, I don't love this.
Right. Yeah. It just, it hasn't aged well.
Do you have any more?
It probably wasn't great then either. Nope. Not in that one.
Okay. So oh wait, I just said it. Cosmo Conversations. That's not right. Cosmo Convos. Or your cheesecake moment, if you will. Key moments of friendship that you want to highlight.
It's the Big and Aiden. At the, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's that connection point between the two of them. I tried to keep it to men, give them their due.
Okay, hold on. Let me do
They're
this.
actually not passing the Bechdel test a lot in this show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of awesome. There's not a lot of
a little bit
two
the
men
point.
in the scene. Yeah, talking to each other and talking about something besides women.
All of mine were about women. I don't even have a man one to pull. So season 3, episode 10, Carrie finally admits the affair with Big to Samantha. And she asks Samantha, don't you want to judge me? And just a little bit. And Samantha says, not my style. It's not like peak friendship. It's definitely a like unique brand of Samantha friendship, but also any good friend should be able to look at you and say that. I'm not going to judge you for it.
And I hope that helps Kohler back. Well, I'm just going to do a quick call back to the Delivery Man episode.
1000%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Season 3, episode 12, at Charlotte's wedding, she gets the jitters right before she walks down the aisle. And Carrie first starts trying to convince her it's okay, you're just nervous. But then when she realizes this might be real and that Charlotte might really be having a moment, she says, we can leave right now. Get in a cab. Everyone else will just have to get over it. And like, she really means it. You can tell. And that she would really take Charlotte and run away with her because she's Carrie. Running away is her way of dealing with things. But she really would be that friend for her and run away and help hold her hand while she got through this moment. And I thought that was really beautiful.
Like that.
same episode later, Carrie says it's hard to find people who love you no matter what. I was lucky to find 3 of them. This is right after Aiden walks away from her.
Absolutely beautiful.
And then my last one's kind of lighthearted. But it ends not lighthearted. Season 4, episode 15, Carrie and Miranda are trying wedding dresses on together. So you mentioned earlier something that I think I haven't put words to yet. Sometimes Miranda feels a little on the outskirts of the friend group, and you kind of forget that she and Carrie are like, Carrie is definitely Miranda's bestie, and Carrie is besties with all these people, but like she and Miranda have a special thing. But Miranda is always so serious. She's always a little on the outskirts. But in this episode, they're trying on these dresses, and Miranda is being silly and having fun, at least for a moment before Carrie melts down. And I just loved watching Carrie pull her out of her seriousness. Thought that was a real friendship moment.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you for bringing the matriarchy in, Nikki.
Yeah, absolutely. You're like all stuck on men, and I'm just like, but what about the women, Salina? We're not forgetting the women.
Even in the men episode. I love this.
Men episode, especially in the men episode.
Well, there's something to be said for it.
You want to do some superlatives?
Let's do it.
You want to talk about?
We had done it for the women. Yeah. So
yeah,
we got to do it for the men.
Sure. And I did focus on the men here. Best looking.
Good. I think we've already agreed, right? Objectively, it's Smith.
You're going to say Smith. I'm going to say Aiden, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
John Corbett, man.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man.
He has just like this oh shucks look that just gets me. Mm-hmm. Just very puppy dog.
Yes. So objectively, it's got to be Smith, but subjectively, for me, it's Petrovsky.
Really? Oh my!
I think it's a charisma thing for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'll agree with you objectively. You're totally right. That's the right way to look at it. Smith is just gorgeous. Petrovsky, huh? And so then
Even when I was 19.
If I put on my like a man that I would actually be attracted to, it's like for a relationship purpose, it's Aiden. If I put on my like who is a man that just like would intimidate me and make me feel like this is one of the most beautiful, like charismatic, like enigmatic, it's Big. The suits, the town car, that does something for me in a very unhealthy way. That would, I see where he pulls that out of Carrie. I don't get it with Richard. I get it with Big.
Yeah, Big. It's my notes actually says I always had a thing for Petrovsky and Big.
Petrovsky, man, I'm gonna sit with that for a while. I've
told you I also had a thing for Al Pacino. So in like 97, not even in like 77. Well, I wasn't alive in 77.
Yes,
so
that would have been a problem.
To do with it. Yeah, so I like people who are a little unique. Also, none of these people look like my husband.
Yeah.
So they're like these very small men.
So I was going to make
small stature.
I was going to make a joke about maybe it's something about the small men, because Petrovsky seems very petite.
He's a little guy.
Pocket. Yeah. What about Mr. Congeniality?
I gave it to Steve.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I almost wobbled and went to Harry, but
oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but
Steve would be a fun
But
hang.
Harry is like a cutthroat lawyer, and Steve is nice all day, all night. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really saw him be mean unprovoked.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, he's a bartender, so you know he makes a good drink. He's always down for a laugh. He's very funny. Wouldn't want to be married to him, but I'd hang. Yeah. Give it a whirl.
I would eat cereal and watch cartoons with Steve. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. What about most skeezy?
Obviously, Richard.
Obviously, yep. Except I went with Mr. Big.
Oh, did you really?
Yep.
Oh, funny. Okay.
And I think it comes down to the honking at Carrie to get her to come out in the rain. Like, just garbage behavior.
Were you only thinking of this batch of episodes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I co-sign Richard for the record, but I
Yeah.
needed a reason to get that frustration about Big honking the horn.
It's very hard for me. Good for you. Get it out. It's very hard for me to not picture Richard and picture the episode where she catches him cheating.
Yeah, that was really hard.
That's a pretty skeezy scene.
That was
You know?
awful. That was really
Yeah.
awful because she spent that whole episode having people tell her like she's crazy,
Yeah.
including
Pretty tough.
him. Yeah,
Right.
that
She had
sucks.
to
That's
wear a
true.
wig. That's hard. That's hard work. Wearing a wig is hard work.
As we learn when she shaves her head.
Yep.
What about worst partner?
All right. I literally said obviously Richard, but I think this could also go to Big.
Yep. Yep. So I want to give it to Carrie because she's just a terrible partner over and over
Oh,
again.
look at you. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
especially the thing with Aiden. And again, this is my own like filter of like, I have a soft spot for Aiden. He's the kind of guy that appeals to me. And so when she treats him like garbage, then I'm just like, you're on my crap list. But also I got to throw something to Trey because he's also a pretty terrible partner. I don't think it was always intentional. I talked about how I think he's one of the most tragic characters. He struggles with erectile dysfunction, which is really hard for a man. And but it does feel like that's something he could have brought up with her in advance. But his upbringing is such that you don't talk about difficult things. You only talk about the things that make you look good. But his whole inability to understand Charlotte's concerns around the infertility bit, hashtag never forget that cardboard baby. That's like peak terrible partner behavior. He sends Bunny in to take care of the family business of the prenup, like just all around terrible partner behavior. Not necessarily intentional and not of his own doing, but that doesn't make him any less culpable.
Yes. I think, yeah. Also, I just want to point out, yes, ED, but also in the next batch of episodes, we get treated to his like obsession with like sleeping with Charlotte in like public places.
Yeah.
And he was fine.
Yeah.
And there was no ED. So
What
are we talking about here?
I assumed there was something I missed, maybe a medication or something that I missed. But if I didn't,
don't think
then
so.
You're right.
Yeah. I think it was like when he wasn't actually attached to her.
Yeah.
He became sexual for him again.
Yeah.
So not great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's a lot of worst partners. So congratulations.
So maybe we could talk about best partners. So we ended on a good note, unless you have added
nice.
unless you added a superlative I don't know about.
That's so
I did
funny.
not.
I didn't add best partner.
Oh,
No, it's just so funny that I didn't even think to add that.
Oh, well, I did. So let's end on a good note. Who
Yeah,
would you
tell
give?
me who
You want me to
I'll
tell you
do it-
mine?
I'll do it live. Yeah, tell me yours first.
So I have two, and I'm curious on your take on at least one of them. So first up is, I'm curious on your take on both of them, but I think there's one that I want to know. Anyway, Harry, I feel like I haven't gotten to see everything he brings to the table in terms of the marriage, but he hangs in there through Charlotte nagging him about the tea bags and the naked sitting and the weird dancing and the baldness and the this, that, and the other. She spends a series of episodes telling us all the reasons Harry's the wrong guy, and he just hangs in there through it. He was just head over heels in love with her all the time. That moment in The One, which we're going to talk about in our next batch of episodes for our next episode, but where he says anything that makes you smile this big, or maybe it was this one, but he says anything that makes you smile this big can't be bad. Like just all that sort of stuff. Best partner energy. So that's one. The other one was the Russian. And this is the one where I was curious what you think about that, because you know more of their full arc. And I have a sense, before you even said it here, I had a sense something is coming in the series finale. But like, he was so mature, as I've already said, too mature for Carrie. But I think he really cared for her. I appreciated him looking out for her when it came to Sam's battle with cancer. In the next batch of episodes, we're going to talk about where he exposed her to culture and poetry and all these things. And I just feel like he really wanted to be a good partner that like opened her up to the world. And I was curious what you think about either of those or one of those.
So, okay, the first person that came in my head, because I was like, say whoever came in and don't let Nikki change your mind,
Oh, okay,
was
fine.
Harry.
Was who?
But it was
Harry?
Harry.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I do think it is for all of those reasons that you said, and just a consistent person. The second thing I was like, well, let me learn from Nikki, and I'm going to say a woman,
Mm.
and I would probably say Charlotte.
Oh.
I think Charlotte, out of the four women, is the best partner.
Yeah. Yeah, out of the four women for sure. But I'm
She
not.
really, she does it up. Like, that's the person, if I was a man, I would want Charlotte
Oh, for sure.
as my partner.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did the whole Shabbat
She
dinner.
converted to Judaism,
Yeah.
for God's sake.
Yeah.
But she also like the dinner that she made that night. Like, she's always like doing things at like a level 10. I just felt
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm not saying like this is the way to do it, but she quit her job at the gallery for Trey and for potentially having like children together and to be a state. Like, she isn't invested at like a level 12 out of 1 to 10, you know. That's just how she exists. So I do think that she is a very good partner. And then
Real quick, can I
obviously
interject?
Yeah,
Does that
please.
right there give you a sense for how we ended up in the patriarchy, though? Women giving it
Yes.
110%.
Yes. And if I'm a man, that's what I'm going to take advantage of.
100%. Yep. Yep.
But absolutely, it's absolutely everything that you need to know. And then to answer your question though about Petrovsky,
Yeah.
in the batch of episodes that you have seen, I absolutely agree with that. I'm going to say too, I want to hold the rest of my thoughts, but what I will say is like, I don't know you'll feel exactly the same once you see the last two episodes,
Okay.
but then I have specific thoughts that I've always held that I also hold about the movie that I will save for a time when it's appropriate because I
Okay.
don't want to spoil anything or influence unintentionally. And I do think that he has many good qualities as a partner, and I think that you already hit on a lot of them. And I do think that he's definitely one of the more interesting people to watch with Carrie. And my final thought is this: I'm not sure Carrie, and I think I've already said it, I'm not sure Carrie belongs with anyone. I think that's kind of what we learn over the course of all of the things that happen with all of the different assets that belong to the Sex and the City universe or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I also think that's very interesting to think about because is it really true? Does if you're just talking math, just statistics, can it be true that really everyone should be in a relationship, a long-term relationship? I think the answer is probably no. I think there are some people who probably are better alone. And she's not alone because she has all of these other relationships that fill her cup. And so I just think that's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think sometimes, well, in the later seasons, it becomes clear to me like she just doesn't put in the work to be a good partner. And even sometimes with her friends, she's kind of crappy to them too. Like Miranda had this moment, and I can't remember right off the top of my head which episode it was, but she's having this moment where she's on the phone with Carrie and like breaking down. And maybe it's when Carrie has a date with Petrovsky or something. And Carrie's basically just like, don't have time for this right now. Could you save this breakdown for later when I'm not trying to get out the door? She actually says to her, like, all you're doing is ruining your evening and mine. And so I just feel like though it's the world according to Carrie, and we've talked about that sort of perspective and how, like if she would put in the work, then probably there is a man out there that she could be with. But like that is almost sort of boiling it down to her, like, is there a partner out there that's perfect for her without her having to do anything? No, but I don't think that's true of anyone. I think we've all made sacrifices to be with our partner, not changed ourselves, but adjusted ourselves so that we fit with this person. There are certainly things I do now 15 years into my marriage that I didn't do year one. But I just know like that's just going to make things easier with Kyle, and he's worth that to me. And I don't think Carrie ever found that person that was worth that to her. Because probably no one was worth that to her because she likes herself.
Yes.
She's very Samantha in that way. And that's okay. That's okay to be that way. But it's not, I don't know that it's accurate to say no one exists for her. They probably could. She just, no one exists because she's not willing to do the work.
Right. Okay. I like that perspective.
Burning questions.
I didn't have any additions to
Okay.
my superlatives that came up along the way. Burning questions. I did hear you. I wanted to see if do you want to call it after you've watched these episodes? You feel free to pull in anything that you've seen to this point, next episode or past. Do we have a best of the men? Our favorite leading man from Sex and the City.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You gonna say it?
I'm thinking, hold on. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Because it's just Aiden for me. Okay. But it's because he appeals to me personally so much. Not because I think he was the right person for Carrie. Not because I think his character was perfect. I'm just looking at him and I'm like, what a catch.
Perfect man for you.
What a catch. Like, he's so good. On paper, in reality, he's so emotionally available to her. She yells at him in that episode where he's hammering the spot in the wall to break down the wall between their apartments. She like screams at him and tells him to stop. And she's at some point she says like, you're not listening to me, but he is trying to hear her and see her. He just doesn't understand how like cerebral this is for her, how like it's deep in her core, but he wants to do what's right for her. And so for me, 100% Aiden.
Okay.
What about you?
Steve.
Stop it. Stop it. Really?
Not Steve for me.
Okay.
Just Steve is, I think, my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If we're talking about for me, I don't know. I'd probably have to sit with that for 2 weeks.
Okay.
But I have commitment phobia, except for my 20-year relationship. He was, I don't know, he was there. He never left once he arrived. I know he has flaws, but he was never intentionally hurtful, similar to what we were talking about with like Mr. Congeniality. And I just think he's always been a good guy. I don't know. I like his down to earth quality too.
Yeah, I 100%. That makes sense. I think season 6 changed Steve a little bit for me because remember where I got my like first intro to Steve was him eating cereal in front of the TV while she was trying to do her job to make money to put a roof over their head. And when he says to her, like at Brady's birthday party, you know, you've always been the one for me. The wedding, like he lets it happen the way she needs it to happen and just goes with the flow. Like he is a really good partner for Miranda.
Yeah.
Good guy. And real good guy.
Good guy, good dad.
Yeah.
I think,
best dad.
I think this, and we see him eventually. Well, this might be in the next batch of episodes, but like we see him eventually like stand up to Miranda when it counts. Because like when it came to like their growing family, he's like, "You got to get us out of this tiny apartment. We can't do this anymore just because you love Manhattan. I'm sorry. Like, I guess we'll have to move to the very expensive and wonderful Brooklyn."
Yeah. Gosh darn it. I was trying to look real quick to see if that was in this batch of episodes because that was really
sure
beautiful.
It's the next one.
When he says like, you have to consider us. We have a family now. Yeah, that was really wonderful.
And that was growth on his character's part because just like you were saying, like so often I think he was
a weenie
trying to fit Miranda. Sure.
Say it.
Did you have any burning questions?
Let me ask this one. So because of the way in which we're watching this, I was confused about the timeline of the Aiden Big Carrie thing. I couldn't tell if Aiden knew about the affair at the time that Carrie invited Big out to the country house. Walking it back, it looks like he did find that out the season before. I think we've had some episodes. I figured that out. But maybe you can share a little bit more about how it came out to Aiden that Carrie had been carrying on a relationship with Big after the affair and how Aiden handled that.
Well, I was trying to piece some of that back together. So like okay, so they were together in like season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was the affair.
Mm-hmm.
Then they broke up at Charlotte's wedding,
Right.
okay, or right before. And then they get back together.
Right.
This is like after Carrie's like kind of had this like flirtatious thing with Big still. We get a
Yes.
little snippet of that in the next batch of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So they get back together, and then that's when all of this happens. I don't remember exactly what opens the door. I think it is just a continuation of what could have been a little, if you ever want to, like, the flirtatious eyebrow thing that they're doing. And then like that was on the table. It comes off the table when Aiden comes into play. Plus there's like, now I'm getting confused with when he moves to Napa, because that would have been, well, that was into season 4, but like, the friendship piece I think always stayed, even though like that opened door for like, well, we could just have friends with benefits.
Right.
And they just kind of continued that relationship in the background. And I think there's a couple of episodes that you do miss where they navigate that, and it's not a good one. And it might, maybe like he walks in and there's like a message on the answering machine from Big or something.
Okay.
And so there's like, they're like having to fill each other out with like the trust there. And then this happens.
Yeah. So this episode, she picks up the phone and goes out of the room to talk to Big. And that was where it got me thinking like, oh my God, what was Aiden's reaction when he found out they still had a friendship? Because that feels,
it was not good.
That feels to me like a sacrifice that if Carrie loved Aiden, she would have made. She and Big do not have this lifelong friendship that cutting him off wouldn't be possible.
That's fair. I think like, I would like to see it now through like the age that I am, a little bit more lived experience. I believe my interpretation of the time is that he was harshly punishing her like Aiden was. And that's my best memory, is like they get back together. He's very hesitant about it, but he did care about her so much that he did it anyway, and then punishes her.
Yeah.
And punishes her in kind of some mean ways, if memory serves. Okay. Almost like withholding love. Like we're together, but like,
no.
Yeah, and like not being cuddly and not being like,
oh no, don't ruin Aiden for me. I won't watch those episodes.
But like, he's also angry. And I think that's the lesson in that. It's like, he needed to own up to the anger and confront her for the things that she had done and really let that out, versus letting it just sit on him, because then that makes you like, you're still angry. You know what I'm saying? We've all done that. We've all been angry at someone, tried to hold it in, and wind up acting like an asshole.
Yeah.
If you would just like let it out, like there's a good chance that maybe you can move on, or be honest that you can't.
Yeah.
And then move on in the other way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Keep it all moving down the road. So
yeah. That's all my burning questions.
That was it? Okay. Well, next up, the What Do We Miss episode. That is where we watch some of the must-watch episodes that we've missed along the way. It'll also be an opportunity for us to spend a little bit more time talking about the broader series. If anyone out there is purists who wants to watch those episodes before we release that episode where we watch all of those episodes. I swear to God. Season 1, episode 12, O Come All Ye Faithful. So you'll want to watch that one, as well as season 3, episode 17, What Goes Around Comes Around. Season 4, episode 3, Defining Moments. Season 6, episode 12, 1. And I believe it's season 6, episode 14, The Ick Factor. I'm not sure it's 14, but you guys can find it by the fact that it's in season 6 and it's named The Ick Factor. And if I'm wrong on 14, you'll go through a little something that I put Nikki through this season, where I put down the wrong episode and she had to find it.
But I did, because I'm a big girl.
I'd like to blame Chat GPT.
Fair enough.
Just a little bit for that one, but also I could have verified, but should I have to? I don't know. Anyways, that's not here nor there. We'd love everyone to follow along with us and engage on Instagram and Facebook at Sweet Tea and TV, or TikTok at Sweet Tea TV Pod, YouTube at Sweet Tea TV 7371, email sweetteatvpod@gmail.com, or you can find us on our website at www.sweetteatv.com. You guys should check that one out. It costs us money. There are also several ways to support the show. Tell your friends and family about us, rate and review us wherever you listen to the podcast. We also have some additional ways available from the website, from our support us page. And I just want to say, like, legitimately, we do love hearing from you. We love hearing your thoughts and your feelings and the many kind things that you have shared with us over the course of the season. So keep coming back. We're here for it. And then, Nikki, would you like to tease why they should come back this Thursday for Extra Sugar?
Yes. So we are going to have a segment called Behind Manhattan, where we're going to talk a little bit about the people, the places, the things behind the show.
Okay.
And it's highly interactive.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say it's highly addictive. And I'm like, wonderful. I'll be back.
Yes, that too.
Could be that too. Who knows?
Yes.
This means that Nikki's going to quiz me, is what it sounds like. So we'll see what I can do. All right. Well, you know what that means, Nikki.
What does it mean,
I don't even know.
Salina?
I don't know. And just like that, she still can't come up with an ending.